All right, so we are going live, and I'm Bernice. I want to invite you to the KidLit Story Spinners Fall 2024 book launch, and our MC is Jess. And sorry, I have to get to my notes here to get started. If you're watching online, go ahead and post a howdy in the live chat and let us know where you're from. Caden is our moderator there, and so he'll be taking care of you. And then the authors and illustrators are all going to do a toast at the end. And so if you'd like to join us in that toast, feel free to grab your favorite beverage or just the beverage you have on hand and join us when that part comes.
Okay.
Oh, to have your name entered in the drawings for door prize, be sure to post comments in that YouTube section, the chat area, and then the door prize winners will be chosen at random. So you'll want to make sure you're at least saying hi or interacting or getting your stuff in there, even if it's to say, hey, I want to be in the list for door prizes. So, and then I'll go ahead and turn it over to Jess, who is taking care of us tonight.
So welcome to KidLit Story Spinners book launch. So excited for these 5 amazing author illustrator women and to celebrate their books with you guys. Yes, so drop your comments, put your questions. There's going to be a Q&A. You can't win a door prize if you stay mum. These ladies also had a great pre-sale competition, and the winners of that will be announced during the show. So Bernice, tell us about KidLit Story Spinners group and what inspired y'all to write and illustrate picture books this year.
Awesome. Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I'd been thinking checked with my critique group and said, hey, what do you think about all working on writing and illustrating and publishing our own books this year? And at the time we were thinking maybe 6 months, and we quickly realized it would take longer than that, but we all got on board and we've been working together to collaborate to be able to get our stories done and out there.
So how many raise of hands think you're a little crazy to take this on with Bernice?
Wow.
It's a big deal. Y'all put in a lot of work and you did some amazing stuff. So very excited for you. We are going to do our first raffle winner. It's a raffle drawing for the pre-order contest. So the winner will get a hardcover of each of the 5 books, and they will be coming out in order of when they are published. So they won't all be coming at once. So if you win this raffle, you need to email Bernice at berniceseward.com to collect your prize. And Caden is going to be monitoring that. How do we declare the winner?
Actually, Caden said his video feed wasn't so great, so
we will come back to it.
Names in this cool thing here. Do you want to go ahead and pull the name out?
Lynn Harbinson.
Lynn Harbinson.
Woo!
Oh, nice.
Okay, so Lynn, you want to send an email to Bernice at berniceseward.com. Who knows Lynn? Anybody? Okay, so Josie and Hannah, it's up to you to make sure she gets that email. So now we're going to talk to some of our authors here. Michele Rietz is one of the wonderful authors. She loves to make, eat, and share delicious bread and other tasty treats. She lives with her husband and a dog in Lewiston, Idaho, where there is always yeast and flour in the pantry. Michele would never invite her dog to help make the bread, but might consider letting the 3 little pigs knead the dough, should they ever offer. Who Would Like a Tasty Treat is her first standalone picture book. So congratulations, Michele. Read your blurb here. Jen is delighted to find a pile of wheat kernels in the barnyard and works hard to grow the wheat so she can make Grandma's delicious bread. When she injures herself on baking day, she is unable to make the dough, but finds cooperation from a cast of familiar nursery rhyme and fairy tale characters. The day is saved, and so is the bread. So I see a familiar flipped on its head fairy tale. Is that what we're calling this?
Sure.
And what inspired you to flip the little red hen on its head?
I think it's very fun to tear fairy tales up and put them back together in different ways. I have been known many times in my life to say, "Not I," said the pig, when there's something I don't want to do. So this one seemed a little, little apropos. And I just really like to make bread. I have a lot of women in my life and men who are really good bread bakers. My daughters, my mom, my grandma, my friends. I have a couple sons-in-law who are pretty good at it. So so it just seemed kind of fun to kind of take this story and run with it. So
I thought you were going to say you have a lot of good friends who are good bread eaters.
yeah, I do have those too. Yeah.
So am I right that the back matter of this story has a simple bread recipe?
You are correct. Yes.
Awesome.
There's a really, in fact, I made a loaf. It's not the prettiest loaf I've ever made, but I did make a loaf today just to show that it really does work. The bread recipe does work.
Awesome. Delicious. So when you have a lot of nursery rhymes in your book, when you're reading it aloud to maybe your grandchildren or your dogs, do you sing it aloud sometimes?
That was a interesting question, because no, I've been trying to think of what kind of tune that the little refrain might go to, and I just haven't landed anywhere. So you've kind of got me thinking about that. I'm gonna have to work on that.
Oh,
Get it going.
okay. What was the most challenging part of authoring and illustrating this picture book?
Well, there were a couple of really challenging parts, plural. My time management really got away from me. I am not I've never considered myself an artist, so doing art for a 32-page picture book was quite an undertaking. And I think I had to deal a lot with kind of feeling like an imposter, like I probably didn't have any business doing this. So yeah, those things were all pretty. Mhm.
To follow up on that, what are you most proud of?
Well, I have to say I'm pretty proud of the art. It's not perfect, it's not great, but it actually came together, and I don't know, I think it's okay.
Okay, well, I think that it's more than okay.
Thank you.
And it's amazing how that the thing that's the most challenging becomes the thing that you're most proud of. So congratulations. Where and when can we find Who Would Like a Tasty Treat?
Yeah, so I just got it turned in to get pre-approved today, finally. Yay. So I'm hoping it'll be out around Christmas. No guarantees, but that's what I'm hoping. I think it's going to be on Amazon. You can always contact me at Michele Rietz at gmail.com, and I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up with the book.
Very awesome. And if you didn't catch that email, this video will be on YouTube, and you can use YouTube to get in contact with any of the authors to get a copy of their book ahead of time. So thank you. We have the opportunity to do a prize drawing for a copy of Michele's book, Who Would Like a Tasty Treat?
While they're doing that, I did wear an apron
Oh.
tonight, because Jen sports many different aprons in my story. So this apron was given to me by a very good friend, and I often wear it when I'm baking and think of her. So one of the few things I have in common with Jen. I don't really have feathers, so I do have aprons though.
Okay, we're gonna postpone the door prize. Get your comments in the comment section. Where is the link? I want to put my name in. I want a free copy. Let's get some comments in there so we can get the free copies out there. You don't want to miss this. Oh, okay, so KidLit Story Spinners virtual book launch. Okay, I'm going there now. I will end up with my own lovely comment in there, and I will get that door prize. You watch me beat you all. Okay, the next person up is Bernice Seward. She has never met a sheep she didn't like, though admittedly she hasn't met as many of them as Pete has. You can find her engaging in a plethora of steam-powered activities throughout the Pacific Northwest. She lives in Lewiston, Idaho with her family and a cluster of cats. The Sheep Magnet is her 12th illustrated book for children. We will clap for Bernice until the cows come home or the sheep jump the fence, I guess. The Sheep Magnet. Pete has a sheep problem. No matter where he goes or what he does, sheep show up. Lots of sheep. Pete likes sheep, but sheep like counting games, and counting with them can be dangerous, especially if you don't want to fall asleep. Pete tries a gamut of creative ideas like sheep repellent spray and an anti-gravity device to get rid of his sheep problem before it turns into a sleep problem. This hilarious graphic picture book, filled with a few bad puns and a bevy of steam-powered solutions for defying a daunting force of nature, sheep, explores the idea that problems can be possibilities in disguise. I really love that. I really love that. I can't wait to read this book to my kids. And problems can be possibilities in disguise. What inspired you to take sheep and teach us that lesson?
Well, the inspiration for the book came from a class that I was teaching at Sunday school with 3rd through 5th graders. And I put piles of cotton balls at a few different tables. And when the kids came in, I had them all come up with lists of ideas of ways to scatter sheep. And so the kids came up with so many just creative ways, like there was one to send them to outer space and put them in a closet. Just so many really fun ideas, that I'm like, what kind of story could come from that? And then I thought, well, sheep are known for the whole counting sheep to fall asleep. So what if a character was trying to not fall asleep for some reason?
That is an adorable story behind your story. Now, there are dozens of sheep in your book. Do you have a favorite sheep?
I don't think I do. The first sheep to have a name was Lilibet, and she's the little one that has blue eyes. And I wanted to give her all the other characters, their eyes are kind of the same with just these little black, big bulging eyes and these little black dots for their pupils. But for Lilibet, I wanted to give her those big eyes just so she could do the little puppy dog pleading eyes, that you see with some of I don't know, the chibi characters or whatever, but.
That's adorable. Okay. So you have 12 books behind you. You have this adorable book that is already out and available at Amazon, right? What are we going to be expecting from you in the next coming year?
Really, I want to learn how to take this and share this story because it does have the STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, math in it. And that's not for a marketing thing. That's kind of how I think and how I had Pete think to solve problems. And so I'm really passionate about like early elementary education and things like that. And so I want to find out how I can connect that story and learn how to develop materials and experiences and events to really help kids be able to do these kind of things and just have fun learning.
That's awesome. So you're going to run with this book and we're going to find our own ways to get the sheep into outer space at your workshops. So this isn't the first book you've done, and this isn't the first group you've led through publishing. What are some of the big takeaways you have from this collaborative process?
If you want to get something big done, definitely get the accountability group. because it makes it happen. There are so many times that like I wanted to give up because this was a really big project with anyway, it's probably 100 pages worth of illustration content and story into 32 pages. And I know there were lots of times that like I'm ready to give up, but I didn't because we were all doing it together. And it's like I started this, I asked everybody if they wanted to do this, so I can't say sorry, you're on your own.
Yes, the accountability makes a big thing, and we're grateful for your leadership and the accountability you created for us. Do you have something from your book that you wanted to share?
I wasn't sure if I needed to share what it was that attracted the sheep to Pete in the story, because he asks that question as he's trying to get rid of them. And I'm like, do I have to answer that? And I didn't. Well, I didn't answer it in the story so much as kind of for my answer to myself was there are different things that draw us to different people. And so it doesn't have to be the same thing for each sheep. There can be different things that make them want to hang out with Pete or be by him. But I thought of that he was kind of like a compass for them, that they got direction somehow. And so within the book, I have some compasses that are just kind of in some of the illustrations.
I turned my mute on in case my dogs bark. The compass, and I love that. Like, there isn't just one reason why we gravitate toward a person. That's a truism. Where can we find your 12 books?
You could find most of them, ask for them at your local library. Well, no, not the library. You could ask your library to get them in, but your local independent bookstore should be able to get almost all of my books.
Awesome. Awesome. It's time for a prize drawing. What have we got, Kaden? Are there people? Oh, I see some comments in the chat. Who are we picking for a copy of Bernice's book, The Sheep Magnet? Dun, 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 dun. Uh-oh. Oh, Kendra Boning won the copy of The Sheep Magnet. All right, Kendra, congratulations. We will write your name down and get that book to you. So next up is Josie Smeltzer and Hannah Cooper. They are a author-illustrator combo, and they are a pair of veterinarian people, a vet tech and a vet. So Josie is an avid ocean lover and a licensed veterinary technician. She has traveled across the world doing conservation and rehabilitation work with animals. Atlas and Stella were inspired by a tattoo she got that reminds her of what she's fighting for: clean oceans. She lives in Washington State with her husband and a slew of animals to keep them busy. So welcome, Josie. And Hannah is a veterinarian with a special talent for art. She's never met a species of animal she didn't love, but her favorites are lemurs and rabbits. Her love for books started in high school, where she worked at her local bookstore. You'll find her in Washington State with her 2 cats causing chaos. And that's just appropriate for all cats. And here's a little bit about their book, Atlas and Stella Save the Reef. Stella lives in a bustling community on a vibrant coral reef. Trash begins invading, turning Stella's tidy home into a cluttered mess. Neighbors abandon her as the piles of trash grow higher and higher. Feeling alone and helpless, Stella turns to Atlas for help saving the reef. The only question is, how? How do they save the reef? So we know that, are you going to show us your tattoo, Josie?
Sure.
We get to see that inspiration.
Fair enough. This is
We've
the
got,
Stella.
Oh.
so if you can't see, it is an octopus riding an orca. And does she have like a spear or something?
Yes, does have a spear.
Okay. So she is out to win this war that she's waging. She's a heroine here. What inspired you to write this book?
So I got the tattoo because I thought, if anybody was gonna save the ocean, it might be people or creatures that live there. And so I came up the tattoo idea with some friends and I got it done and then I named them and then I was like, their story really needs to be told. Like they need their story out there saving their home together. And so I just started writing it.
I love it. I love it. So that reminds me of a crucial piece of this book, that there are humans who are central to the plot, but there are no human characters in the story. So can you tell me a little bit about why you made that choice?
Yeah, so I really wanted this story to be about Atlas and Stella and how devastating it must be to have their home destroyed and watch their neighbors leave and their food is gone to waste and spoiled. And I just wanted to be able to show kids and have them be able to connect with this problem on a different level, because I think all the stories out there right now are kind of from a human's perspective of, oh yeah, that looks really bad. But it's got to be devastating for an animal. So but I really wanted Atlas and Stella to just continue bringing the problem to humans because humans have caused the problem and we're going to be the ones that have to fix it. Like that's just the truth of it. An octopus cannot clean the ocean. I know that. So, but I wanted it to be from their point of view to just show how devastating and like create another level of empathy.
You've told me that before, and it really hit me very strongly that, you are creating that empathy, but you're also not passing the accountability onto the animal. Hannah, as she was talking, you kept nodding your head. How has it been for you to be part of this illustration adventure?
It's been really exciting. It's definitely not anything that I thought about getting into myself. But when she, was talking about her story and her frustrations with the art side of things, I actually happened to be working on an ink drawing of an underwater scene with an octopus in it. And it sounded like an exciting adventure. I love art, and it's always been kind of something where I try to have some sort of background project that I'm working on, but I usually have a really hard time coming up with something. And so Josie just did the hard work for me and came up with the idea, and we've kind of rolled from there. It's been really interesting to think about the whole process because I'm certainly not as familiar as Josie is with the whole thing. So it's been a real eye-opening experience for sure.
So does that mean we will get to see more Stella and Atlas stories?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to convince Hannah to continue on this journey with me. But yes, Atlas and Stella are supposed to be a series.
Okay, so they're tackling the ocean this time.
And they're gonna go and see what other things they can solve.
Awesome, awesome. Where and when will we be able to find Stella and Atlas Save the Reef?
So we're hoping to be published. Our published date right now is December 20th. That does not mean it'll be printed for Christmas, unfortunately. And I think you'll be able to find it on Amazon, Target, bookstore.com, all the good places.
All the good places. And like Bernice said, it should be available at any local bookstore. You just have to request it. So maybe we won't get it in our stocking, but we could get it for our New Year's resolutions, right?
Yeah.
What are you hoping the impact of this book will have on your readers and maybe the world?
I mean, I really hope that my best hope with this book is that some little boy or girl reading the story will be inspired to make a difference in their community. There's actually back matter of like ideas that they can take to their school or their church or whatever kind of community they're in and ask like, hey, let's bring recycle bins or let's do a park cleanup day together. Just, little things, because the world's not going to be saved overnight. We have to do the little things first. So I just really hope that it inspires them to make a little difference in their own little community.
I love it. And on that note, we will give away a copy of Atlas and Stella Save the Reef. The winner is Heather Bean. So congratulations, Heather Bean. You have won a copy of an epic story. Moving right along, we've got Loreley
Oh my
Smith.
God.
Loreley has a master's of art in teaching and a degree in journalism. As a lifelong learner, she has delved into learning the art of creating children's picture books. She loves the four seasons of the Pacific Northwest, where she lives with her husband in Spokane, Washington. She enjoys skiing, snowshoeing, and hiking in the snow, where you'll find her bundled in warm knitted scarves, hats, and mittens. I see your scarf on. Very nice. I got my little knitted thing on today too, in honor of Olive. And your story is called If Yarn Could Talk. Olive and her yarn friends wait for their turn to be chosen for a special knitted project. When Olive continues to get passed over for each project, she becomes nervous that winter will end and she will never be chosen. Suddenly, her day comes and the reward is worth the wait. So, what inspired this book for you, Loreley?
Well, it started, I think, with my niece, Morgan. She had a roommate who was an avid knitter, and she had so much yarn, their house was busting at the seams with just skeins and skeins of yarn everywhere. And at one point, Morgan was wearing a hat that I just loved. And I said, oh, where'd you get the hat? And she told me her roommate knitted it, made it for her. And so she made one for me and I just loved it. And then standing in her house, looking at all this yarn, I just thought, oh my gosh, imagine if these skeins of yarn could talk and they're thinking, what am I going to be? I hope she picks me. And so then that just kind of spun off my idea. And then, thinking about all the different kinds of yarn and all the colors of yarn and how do you pick your color and your kind and what about those yarns that don't get picked? And so, yeah.
All the tangential thoughts that roll into a story. One of the
Exactly.
things I really love about this book is that you aren't a knitter
Mm-mm.
and you're not normally an illustrator.
Mm-mm.
And you chose to write a story with knitting central to it and use yarn as your medium. So congratulations on being brave and being a lifelong learner, Loreley. That's amazing.
Oh, I'm learning a lot.
Say again.
I'm learning a lot.
You're learning a lot. What do you think you learned? What's one of the interesting things you've learned?
Well, I need to learn maybe how to say no, but I did say yes to this project. And my husband he was the first one that suggested that using yarn. And then after he's talked, I looked at my phone and a text had come in and Beverly also suggested I use yarn. And I thought, okay, there's a sign. So I have learned a lot about different kinds of yarn and what you use them for and how you have to be careful of the yarn you choose when you're using it for an art project like this. I'm learning the affinity tool for the technology piece. So yeah, a lot. It just keeps going.
Keeps going. And so can we order mittens from you as well?
Nothing much. You
Not
wouldn't
ready
want
for
my
that yet.
mittens.
So one of the beautiful things about this book is that there are themes about self-comparison and standards of beauty. So what is the message that you hope your readers, young and old, would take from Olive's story?
Well, really, it's, we all go through periods where we don't feel good enough, or maybe we don't know what our life purpose is, and we're wondering. And and actually for me, it started very young, not getting picked in gym class for sports. And so I kind of had this Olive is similar, where she just doesn't feel good enough and she's not getting picked. And why isn't she getting picked? And all her friends are getting chosen for these awesome little jobs. And yeah, so I hope the message in the end is that we all have a purpose, we all have great qualities, and we find our way in our lives to do the thing that we were meant to do.
I can totally relate to gym class, and I love your message. Where and when can we find your book?
My goal is to have it out on the shelves by the first of the year, or very close to the first of the year. So I'm approaching. So, and
Okay.
Amazon, Ingram Sparks, local indie bookstores, definitely, and hopefully the library. I'm a school librarian, so I'm going to push for the libraries.
Yes, the libraries. Get them in the libraries. We all want to read this book. And I want a copy.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That's
I'm very
great.
excited.
Oh, good.
My
Thank
daughter
you.
just decided she was going to start crocheting. So I
Oh.
gave her a crochet hook and said, I'll show you in a little while. So she went on YouTube and taught herself how to crochet.
Mhm.
So we are going to be very inspired by your book.
Thank you.
Beverly Love Warren is the illustrator of My Child, My Princess and Fishing with Grandpa and Sky, and is the author and illustrator of Have You Seen Mouse? She is a graduate of the Fashion Institute of Technology, where she studied illustration and design. Today, she makes her home in Washington State, but when she was young, she lived in Florida, where she chased lizards, but never managed to catch them. You probably try to grab them by the tail, huh? Tinker, Where Are You is the name of her story that she's publishing. Hannah promises to take care of Tinker, her friend's lizard, but he keeps running away. Can Hannah keep Tinker from getting lost before her friend returns? So welcome, Bev. Would you tell us a little bit about the
Yes.
inspiration for this story?
Yes, it's sort of disconnected. So I had written a story originally for a class back in 2017. And, we were supposed to take something from our childhood. So I had a hamster, and the hamster escaped its cage and got loose in the house, and I was never able to find it. So that was the inspiration for the story. Originally, the animal was a turtle instead of a lizard that was going to play that character. But as I did some Googling, I found out there's way too many turtle stories out there. So I decided to do a lizard. And of course, I lived my very young years down in Florida, and there was tons of lizards around of all different kinds. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to use a lizard, and I'm going to pick one that is native to that state. So that's how that happened.
Personally, I love a lizard. Love how their bodies squiggle along. This story has some strong themes of hard work and friendship, which are two values that we don't always pair together. How do you see the relationship, the connection between friendship and hard work?
You would say you wouldn't pair them, but I think they definitely go together. I think without work, you're not going to have a good friendship. You have to invest time in it. You have to be a good listener with your friends. You have to do things for them that maybe you wouldn't choose to do. You have to sometimes sacrifice. So I think hard work is very much a part of it. And that shows in the story as well.
Yes, definitely. I like that the friends are very caring for each other and they also hold themselves accountable to the friendship that they have.
Mm.
So what is your favorite moment in this story?
There are two. So the one is when Hannah, so she's the main character, hits her lowest point and she just cannot deal with the situation anymore with this lizard that's disappeared. She's tried all different kinds of things to try and find it, including something that I would kind of say is a private eye type thing, something that a private eye might do. So she's at her low point. The other part is at the end when Hannah and her best friend, who's named Abby, not that's the right word, when they affirm their love for one another, their care for one another, their friendship with one another. So those are the 2 points I'd say.
They're very emotionally impactful moments in the story through your illustrations, especially. What are you hoping that your readers will get out of these books?
Out of this book, yes. I think it would be that they would value their friendships. They would care for them, that they would do what they need to do to make their friendships work. And I mean, today, there are so many children that are not kind to one another. And of course, they do it a lot of times because they're hurting inside themselves. And I would like children to take a look at the other people who they call their friends and who they will say that they love and choose to do what's good for them and not always look at what's best for me. And I know that's kind of a concept that might be hard for somebody who's young and immature, but my hope is that in reading the story, and there are questions in the back for parents and children, that they would look and they would say, how can I be a good friend to, my best friend or just so and so, or to somebody who is being treated poorly in school. So it's trying to take them outside of themselves a little bit and caring for somebody else.
Yeah, building that empathy and the ability to not only want to give, but want to give what the other person wants to receive.
Yes.
Where can we find your books?
I would say all the same places that the other gals have said. I'm hoping that mine is going to be ready in early December. So, hopefully by then. But yeah, all those other places. And I guess there's going to be a list of emails, or the emails will be available. But I also have my website, which is www.beverlylovewarren, and I can be connected through that as well. And my art is showing there too, if anybody is curious.
So her website is beverlylovewarren.com. And we can find your art and your different books on that website, as well as requesting them from places. Kaden, do we have a prize winner for a copy of Tinker, Where Are You? Oh, I won again. I'm so lucky. Uh-oh, my dogs are getting excited. Shh. Sorry. How about for Michelle's book? We have some more comments. I don't believe that one was put in the chat yet. We need another winner. I don't mind if it's me. Tony S. Tony S., you are a proud recipient of Would You Like a Tasty Treat? Yes, we would. So make sure you grab that email and let people know that you're the winner and that you want your book. It's time for a Q&A. Do we have questions from the Q&A queued up? All right, it looks like most people have had they're just liking listening to you guys. They don't have a question queued up. If you have a question, put it in the chat. We have some starter questions we could use, which are, what's your mantra? How did you get through this process without, pulling your hair out or killing anybody?
I'd love to know what your answer is. I feel like it's definitely something of I'm gonna kill her.
No, I feel like a lot of times from you, I got, please don't kill me.
Yeah,
But
that was definitely, please don't kill me. It's good to have a buddy going through this together.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a mantra, but I didn't want to let everybody else down. So that kept me going. I really wanted to be a participant and follow through. So.
Are we correct in thinking that Jen is modeled after you, Michele?
Well, I'd like to think that I'm kinder than the original Little Red Hen is. So yes.
Looking out for others, wanting to make the magic happen. Let's see. Kay, why do you write picture books?
I think what I really love about picture books is you get to the heart of a problem, right? Because there's things that we deal with as adults or young adults or teens or whatever that are really complex things. So in a picture book, you go really deep and you deal with one aspect of something. And it's just it's just a really neat way to share things. I know there's lots of picture books that I read that I'm like, man, that impacted me forever now.
Yeah, there's that famous quote, if it's too hard for adults, write it for kids.
Agreed.
I think too with picture books or actually any books is I think messages are retained better. When I think of like being in a classroom and lecture, I might grasp a sentence or something, but a lot of it goes in one ear and out the other. But a story and with pictures as well, they really stick with you for a long time. Stories are great for teaching, I think.
And communicating layers of meaning in less than 10 minutes in a memorable way. I think that we should start making our laws into picture books before we vote on them. We have Heather Bean asking, what advice would you give for young aspiring authors or more aged aspiring authors?
I would say just keep
Get
writing.
started.
Mm-hmm.
Keep writing.
And read a lot. too, because
Get
those are
started.
everything you read becomes a mentor text in that, and what works, what you like. You read it and you're like, hey, what works about this? What do I like about this? And if you have like a few different books, so what do I like better and why do I like this and what can I learn from it and apply to my own story?
Yeah, and I also, oh, sorry. I was gonna say, join a group. Joining a group is such a big thing. I mean, I felt so alone. I was just like, I didn't have anybody to talk to, and I was like just struggling to be inspired. And then I met Jess through a writer group here in Washington, and she connected me to all these lovely ladies, and now we're almost publishing a book. So, connect with a group is I cannot give that advice strong enough.
Ditto. Well, we're running out of our time here with our Q&A, and we need to do our toast. But before we wrap up, we need to give a huge shout out, thank you, round of applause, 3 cheers, hip hip hooray. I don't know what other kind of dance we can do of thank you, Bernice Seward. So unmute.
Yeah.
Clap for real. She has made this dream available and possible for us all with her leadership, and we love you.
Yes, couldn't do without you.
If anybody else wants to pipe up and say something to Bernice, please do.
I just, Bernice and I have known each other for a little while. She's the one I took my first KidLit class from back in the day, a while ago. And she has just always been such a generous person with her knowledge, but also with her encouragement. And I think I can speak for everybody that she's held our hands through this project. And we probably wouldn't be where we are if she hadn't been such a great leader for us. So we just love you, Bernice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Thank you for being you. And I think that a group needs a good leader, and it also needs people who are willing to show up and participate and be awesome and be vulnerable. So I want to give all of you a hand for being amazing in your group. Are we gonna do the door prize or are we gonna do the toast? What do we say?
Well, because we have door prizes and the pre-sale contest winners and then the final door prizes. So the toast is for the very end.
All right, so then I'm going to turn the time over to Leslie. She is an amazing author who's been who flew the coop from this group. We miss her, we love her, and she's going to tell us about the winners.
Great. Well, thank you for having me here. This is a big undertaking. This was one where I bowed out, actually, where I was like, this is such a great thing. But as you have all said, a lot of commitment, a lot of work to push through. And 1 year, I can't imagine how much effort that was for everyone. So congratulations. So I have our 3 goals here. I'll start with furthest distance. We had some mileage. There was one in Texas, another in St. Augustine, Florida, another in Nashua, New Hampshire, but our winner was Bernice with a book sold in El Salvador. So congratulations, Bernice.
Thank you.
And also sales everywhere. Congratulations to everyone, because those were some pretty, I had to check some of those mileage. There was some, it was close. And so most books sold in 1 day goes to Bev with 17 books in 1 day. So congratulations. That is a lot. And finally, our total book sales in total overall pre-sale was Bernice with 53 books. So congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
I saw all the list of names that had come in for the drawing for the pre-sale raffle, and I'm like, wow, I don't know if I'm gonna win because people have been really busy. That's awesome. So
Congratulations, everyone, and thanks for letting me share in this moment.
thank you, Leslie.
Thanks, Leslie.
Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm still MC or not.
Do you want to keep doing finish up the door prizes, Jess, or do you want me to?
Okay, so I think you should because I'm a little unsure of what is happening. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. So we have a door prize for, let's see. So we've got, I'm watching as Caden pops them up. There is a prize drawing for 6 soft cover copies of the sheet magnet. I figured 6 is a good number for like a small reading group within a class, which you don't have to be a teacher to get the 6 copies. But the person who won those is Kendra Bowening, Boehning. So it looks like, is that Josie? Is that someone you know?
She has many that are going to love them.
Awesome. And then we have 2 different 1-hour virtual visits with an author. And the first 1-hour virtual visit goes to Jess. So you get to choose who you would like it with.
All right. I'll let you know.
Awesome. And then the other 1-hour virtual visit goes to Shannon Clegg.
Yay.
So,
Yay.
and that's what we've got for winners so far. There are 2, the last 2 ones. Is it final 2 or just a final one? Oh, 2. There's one that is 5 hours of mentoring, consultation, critique with me. And on that one, so it looks like Tony S won that one. Tony, if you're like, I totally don't need that, you're welcome to transfer that to somebody else that you know who wants to write or illustrate or is thinking of self-publishing or wants to do some kind of fundraiser thing or yes, I can't talk tonight, collaborative thing. So feel free to use that if you want, but if you're like, oh yeah, what am I going to do with that? That you can pass on. The final drawing, the grand prize drawing, is for a half-day author visit in 2024, up to 4 hours in person, if possible, within an hour and a half of the author, otherwise virtual. And now this could be set up like a story time at a school or library with question and answer, short craft session or something, or workshop, consultation, critique session, brainstorming. Actually, it would be a really good brainstorming session for maybe a fundraising group like an animal shelter. But so, yeah. And if you win and you know the author and they see you often, you might be able to convince them to do in person one of the times when they're over where you're at. And then, so Caden, does that mean Heather Bean was the winner of the grand prize? Oh, yay. So Heather Bean, you won the half-day author visit. Congratulations. I think Josie and Hannah have the most winners of their things. I just keep seeing them.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
shocked at the number of people that showed up for us. Thank you, everyone. Oh my gosh. We are like, we keep being like, oh my gosh. So funny. Congrats, everyone.
Yes, congrats. Awesome. So, unless there's anything else, are we ready to do our toast? So we have all worked really, really hard and pressed through places where we're like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. What was I thinking? And I read a stat the other day, and I know I've heard this before, and I can't remember if the percentages change all the time, but like 85% of people have an idea for a book, and only about 2% ever follow through and get published. And so I know we're not all there yet. We're still very much on finishing things up. But it's just amazing. So cheers to all the hard work, all the things we've pressed through, all the ways we've grown, and to moving forward imperfectly. So
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hip hip hooray.
Oh, I need
yay. Yay. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jess, for being our MC.
Thank you, Jess.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me. Thanks for being awesome. Oh, you're so inspiring. I want to go write a book.
Perfect.
Can't
If
wait.
you have an hour with somebody, you can ask them about it. Well, I'll go ahead and wrap us up and say thank you and great job, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.